ladies and gentlemen, I have had the pleasure, or honestly, the displeasure, oh, sorry for showing the better game, of actually trying out the new Stygian Onslaught mode. And boy, oh boy, do I have some crazy things to say about this one, because I'm gonna be honest over here. I could not do it. I am currently in this stupid, cursed, goddamn game mode. I am currently hard stuck on Battlefield 2 with the lava dragon statue blazing flame because I don't have Emily, I don't have Kanish. I tried using my C6 Alhaitham against this bad boy, and the end result was that, well, I just wasn't able to clear because it has so much HP, it makes Honkai Star Rail look like a free-to-play game. And so, what I wanted to do today was actually get into some of the ongoing discussion when it comes to what is making this game mode such hot, steaming dog ass. And the first article that we're going to be showing over here are some posts from some other individuals in the space, because we got the war in the Genshin sub. There's a lot of people that are not very happy with what's going on over here. We have people quoting Hoyoverse from the past days, talking about how if we design another type of permanent endgame that is similar to the Spiral Abyss, it might end up creating excessive anxiety for our players. Guess what? The amount of anxiety that I currently feel about the actual amount of money that I wasted when my C6 Alhaitham could not fucking clear difficulty 5, knowing that there's also a difficulty 6 after that, is insane. I actually feel retarded spending that much money on a unit that was going to be this useless because the devs just decided they wanted to make it that way. Because they just decided it's not enough to C6 the characters. You also have to make sure you're C6ing the right characters, or you might as well go fuck yourself. So that's a situation that's come up. This game mode gave me PTSD. I'm not surprised. You want to know why? Because this is an example. This is the fearless version. There's a dire difficulty after this. You want to know what my Escoffier team ended up doing, guys? My Escoffier, Skirk, Farina, Yalan team. Yeah, that's actually the one, right? That's the one that's supposed to be really, really good against this boss, where it has a clear weakness from taking cryo damage. It basically does nothing. Yeah, this boss over, I took 1 minute and 17 seconds. Yeah, with C0R1 characters, I took 1 minute and 17 seconds. Yeah, you have 1 minute and 20 seconds to clear. And so naturally, right, if on difficulty 5, I'm taking 1 minute 17, that's just not going to be possible to get any faster or actually clear on time for the dire difficulty. I'm basically taking the full 2 minutes when I'm running the best in slot team for this boss. The best in slot team for this boss, I'm taking almost the full amount of time. So yeah, I am not particularly surprised, right, that there are individuals in the Genshin Impact subreddit talking about feeling like they went to war, because it is absurd. The amount of HP inflation, the absurd amount of just dog shit mechanics that you have to deal with in this game mode. Next, we got people complaining. You guys really underestimate how casual the average player is. Let's just open this one up and zoom a little bit more in. I've been doing some co-op onslaughts on hard and asking if they want to try out menacing. The teams they come up with make no sense. They don't read the possibilities, blah, blah, blah. Guys, you have to both be sweaty in this game to be able to clear these game modes. You've got to also be sweaty while also being a whale. You can't just be one. You can't just be a whale that's like spending willy-nilly and then just like going in for fun. You also have to be a top of the meta player while also being a whale. You do realize it's such a small portion of the population that's both categories. Keeping up with the game on the edge of fucking tomorrow, like the edge of the meta, always like, you know, optimizing top 1% builds while also being sweaty, and then at the same time spending thousands of dollars on every single character. That's the only way to clear this endgame mode. And then we got people saying, oh, the scummiest thing Hoyo did in Stygian Onslaught. Yep, there's a reason why. You want to know why this post is at 0 upvotes? This dumb little bitch is complaining about how he can't pause the game at all. No, the scummiest thing about Stygian Onslaught is the fact that it is so absurdly difficult that only whales can do it. That's why this post got mass downvoted. Everyone thought the guy was going to talk about the difficulty. Instead, this little pussy is talking about how he can't pause. No, that's not the real fucking issue, dumbass. I'm glad that the Genshin Impact subreddit is finally going ahead and actually talking about what the issues are with this game. And this is the thing. There are a couple of people, right, that are defending the other side of the equation. There are a couple of people that are saying, this endgame's actually really, really, really good. Here's an example of one. And of course, you're not gonna be surprised at all when you see who's saying this. You guys remember this conversation that I had with Seka Joko back in the day? Basically, this entire conversation was about how bosses that require certain characters to clear are good for the game. And then Seka Poku was going ahead, shilling the fuck out of it. He was just talking about how amazing, like how it's just, well, it's not a problem if you gotta play a little bit more sweaty if you're not gonna play what the devs want you to. Except now we're in a situation where you just won't clear unless you play what the devs want you to. And this is what he has to say about it. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? You need specific 5-star units that were all released in the past year and a half to clear these bosses. You also need a whale as well to clear it on Dire. Let's see what he has to say about that phenomenon.
That's so sad about gacha games. It has nothing to do with long-term players or skill until now, at least. He was your friend in Genshin, not anymore. Bro, this is such a shit take. What? Seriously, you're such a bullshitter, dude. Oh my god, it's not about the skill that you have, and it's about the money you put in now for looking cool. Shut the fuck up, you little bitch. Jesus Christ. Let whales have one thing, you know?
Let whales have one thing. This was also the same guy in our conversation, where very clear in Wuthering Waves between Genshin Impact. We just listed out how Genshin Impact has shield bosses, shield mechanics, shield elements, where if you don't go ahead and you don't pull the right thing or you don't have the right character, looks like I was right the entire time. This was 2 months ago, guys. For this shield boss mechanic, you have a dog shit time. You have an awful time. And as a result of that awful time, you have to invest an incredible amount of time into perfecting the team's rotations, perfecting and doing all of this stuff.
You know what the most used phrase for
let's hear what Seka Joko had to say back then.
Genshin community is when it comes to difficulty? Is this Genshin Impact is an easy game, play who you want. It is one of the most used phrases in the entire community. So to now say that Genshin is more difficult because you have to choose what you want for endgame content is now a problem. So you're saying that it's a problem because you're not able to clear. Okay, so do you want it to be harder or do you want it to be easier?
And Seka Joko just said it's not even about skill anymore. So how can it be hard? How can it be difficult when he just confirmed it's not about skill, it's just about whaling? The only difficulty right now is making sure that you don't end up getting your house repossessed to clear dire difficulty in this new endgame mode. Because you're gonna have to spend thousands of fucking dollars to be able to get these weapon skins. Because that requires you to clear dire difficulty in the single player mode. Dire difficulty. And that requires a combination of a couple of things, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry for showing the better game again. For example, on this Tulpa, you're gonna have to make sure that you're running the Mavuika, Sitlali, Jalonen, and then whoever in the 4th slot team. You gotta make sure you have 3 limited units that were all released in the past year. Some of them haven't had a rerun yet, by the way. Sitlali. And you gotta make sure you have multiple dupes of them, as well as their signature weapon. That's what you need to clear the Tulpa. To clear the Lava Dragon statue, Blazing Flame, C6 Alhaitham's not gonna cut it. You gotta make sure you have Emily, the Dendro Burning character. You're gonna have to make sure you have Keniche, who is designed around working with Emily, and then that'll be good, right? And then for the Cryo boss over here, you gotta make sure you got Skirk with multiple sequence nodes. Because this team over here, barely clearing in 120. You gotta get more than that. You probably need a Scoffier with multiple sequence nodes as well. And they all have to be maybe C2, C3, C4. Some people are saying C6. And I can agree why they're saying C6 is too hard, because C6 Alhaitham is not... You can clearly see over here, he might as well go fuck himself. This is also C1 that he did too. Maybe she was C2, it would have worked. That's just difficulty 5, guys. That's just difficulty 5 on Fearless mode. We still have another difficulty after this. I literally can't do this. I tried at least 7, 8, 9 different runs, and we're actually rotating through the teams properly. These stupid motherfuckers just have way too much HP, and they have some of the most cancerous boss mechanics in the game. The Pyro enemy that has a buff against Hydro and Cryo. That is the design of these bosses. That is the design of this endgame. And you're gonna have the most absurd shills in the space saying shit like this.
One thing. You sound like the biggest little bitch ever. My fucking god, dude. You get all the resources free to play, and then you don't get one fucking thing, and only whales get the one fucking thing? Shut the fuck up. No, at the time, no, you sound like a little bitch. Let whales get one thing.
And he's saying the thing that he wants whales to get are these skins, right? These weapon skins. These weapon skins. And I have to use the preview. I have to use an additional website because I'm not able to clear this content myself because I don't spend thousands of dollars on the game. And so that's the situation, right? People want these skins. They think they look cool. They reset on a, I believe like a monthly or by a patch basis. Yeah, every like 40 days when a new patch drops, the skins disappear. And so maybe that's how people are trying to rationalize it, right? Oh, it's like gated content, but it's only temporary, so it's not that big of a deal if you can't get it, which at the end of the day is something that I can understand, but it's also like, why even have content like this in the game where you're still on the fearless difficulty? There's still rewards. This right here, guys, on the reward, this is an artifact reroller, right? This is one of the best things you can have in the game in terms of like progressing your account, staying at the meta, blah, 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 doing all of that. I can't get this one because I don't have the right characters to clear fearless difficulty. They've tuned the difficulty so fucking high, even in just this mode, that you need the right characters to be able to do this one. And then you add on this shit on top, where even if it's just a skin and it is temporary, you're still locking people out of content, and the only way, literally the only way to do it is to spend thousands of dollars on the game. Nobody wants that in this game. People were just asking for another endgame mode that they'd be able to spend a decent chunk of time on. This, first and foremost, gives you no fucking pulls. This is literally less than 3 pulls, by the way, for clearing this entire thing. It gives you no fucking rewards. Half of the rewards that are actually meaningful, the artifact reroller, is locked behind actually a character check, and you're gonna have people like this who are basically gonna tell you, it's actually good to have whale-only content, after going ahead and trying to advertise, right, that Genshin Impact is actually a really skill-based game. Guys, that's what the shills in this space are going to do from here on out. They're gonna keep talking about how Genshin was actually a skill-based game before because they had character checks. That was the main argument of Sekajoko across this entire call. Genshin Impact, because of those strict character checks for the bosses, because you gotta work around them, it's actually a skill-based game. And now that we're at the point where the content is literally not completable unless you have the characters, now it's just, well, whales deserve to get something, man. Whales deserve something. Why are you dumb free-to-plays complaining? So when it was completable, but absurdly, ridiculously difficult without the characters, it was a skill check. You just suck at the game. You need to get better, little bro. And now that the content, the HP inflation, has gotten so high that you literally cannot do it without the characters. Shut up, dumb free-to-play. Why are you complaining? Who cares? Who cares, you silly free-to-play? Let whales have something for once. Do you see how the narrative changes? Do you see who's on the right side of the equation, right side of the conversation over here? The reason why they're shills is because they'll go post-shift every single time, while the main argument on my end is always the same. HP inflation and character-specific boss mechanics are ruining this game. My argument has never changed across every single Spiral Abyss, across every single Hoyo game, actually. I keep saying the same thing over and over and over. I've said it for Honkai Star Rail. HP inflation, power creep, and boss mechanics that are tied to new character kits. They suck. They do it in every single game. I say the same thing for every single game across every single update. I said it for that dumbass Castorus boss, right? Where it's like it gets one shot if you have Castorus on the team and you zero cycle it. I said it for Miasma Shields and ZZZ. And I'm saying it for the bullshit boss mechanics like the Lava Dragon statue, this cryo dumbass, and then this idiotic Tulpa that for some godforsaken reason has a vulnerability to freeze. It'll one-shot his minions just because they decided to put it in there. I say the same exact thing for every single game, and yet there's always a shifting argument on the other side to justify it. Even though mine has stayed the same, it's universally applicable for 3 Hoyoverse games. Who do you think is actually right here, guys? Who do you think is actually shilling? Who do you think is actually grifting when the people defending these dog shit decisions made by developers are always on the back foot, always looking for something new? And in this case,
1,
crashing the fuck out just to defend this game, screaming at people for daring to say that this game is predatory, that this game has become pay to win, that this game is an awful player experience, screaming at them because of that. The thing about this, though, is that there are still plenty of creators that are calling out what's necessarily wrong with this game mode, but I don't think they're calling it out for the right reasons. I know that Brand Online is over here saying that he's disappointed, but I think the main reason why he's disappointed is because there's not really new boss mechanics, all that stuff, all that jazz going on. I think we just got to get to the root of the issue, guys. And it's in every single Hoyoverse game. These stupid, greedy fucking devs have decided to use the bosses in the end game as a way to sell the newest characters. They decided to increase the scalings of every single unit that's coming out. They've decided to make endgame HP inflated to the point where it's absolutely unplayable unless you pull the newest units, and they're making the endgame pay to fucking play. And that's the issue. That's the problem. And while a lot of people are naturally going to have a lot of different issues about this endgame mode, guys, when we can say the same exact thing, you can use that same exact argument I just made for all 3 Hoyoverse games. Why are we still defending this? Why are we still defending this bullshit? This fucking garbage. It's trash. Fucking trash. And thanks to our handy transfer feature, here's a direct quote from Sega Joko about this whole character check and skill issue conversation.
You pick the easier character. The nuts and bolts of that is because your skill isn't proficient enough to do well.
Yep, that's what the argument was before, ladies and gentlemen. Pulling the on-banner character was just picking the easier character because you were too dog shit to use the other ones. And now you have no choice but to use this easier character if you want any chance of clearing. Crazy how the goalpost has shifted, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, let me know what you all think, ladies and gentlemen. Have I been right this entire time? Or is it actually the shills on the other side of the equation who are always coming up with something new to defend Genshin? Are they the ones in the right? Let me know what you all think. Peace.